Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Beyond Automation, How Teams Reach 67% Resolution with Intercom Fin AI. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. My name is Elaine, and I'll be your host for this session. For our agenda, here's what we will be covering today: how to build a strong and scalable knowledge base, which key metrics to monitor to continuously improve performance, and how to train and refine AI using specific content and feedback, and how teams are scaling up to 67% Fin AI resolution using Intercom. Again, we will end with a live Q&A, so feel free to start dropping your questions as we go. And now I'm excited to introduce today's speaker. Joining us is Marlex Basilio, our lead technical support engineer at DKM Echo. Marlex has a hands-on experience helping support teams use Intercom and Fin AI to reduce ticket volume, improve resolution rates, and build systems that get better over time. Today, Marlex will walk us through practical strategies you can apply to your own support operations. And with that, Marlex, I'll hand it over to you.
Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. For today's session, Beyond Automation, how teams reach 67% resolution with Intercom Fin AI. Whether you're in support, CX, operations, or leadership, today's conversation is about something we've all been thinking about. How do we scale customer support without sacrificing quality? Automation is not a new concept. Most teams already have bots, workflows, and self-service help center in place. But what has changed is the expectations. Customers want fast, accurate answers and human level understanding. So today, we're going to talk about what happens when automation goes beyond deflection and actually starts resolving real customer issues end to end. The goal of this session is simple: to break down how teams are achieving up to 67% resolution using Intercom's Fin AI, what that number really means, how they're getting there, and what it looks like in practice. This is not a theory. We will focus on real workflows, real world scenarios, real decision, and the mindset needed or required to make AI work for your team, not against it. When we talk about 67% resolution, we are not talking about deflection. This does not mean 67% of your conversation were blocked, ignored, or redirected to a help center or escalated to a live agent. A resolved conversation means the customer asked a real question, FinAI provided a clear and accurate answer, and customer deemed the answer relevant and correct towards the question, and FinAI confidently closed the conversation. That 67% is not a vanity metric. It is the benchmark of what high-performing support operations look like today. And with the right setup, guardrails, and our guidance, we will show you how teams using Intercom's FinAI consistently achieve and sustain this level of um, resolution. So now that we've aligned on what 67% resolution really means, the next question naturally becomes what actually enables FinAI to resolve conversations at that level? Because FinAI doesn't work in isolation. It is only as strong as the knowledge it has access to. And this brings us to the first and arguably the most important requirement for reaching high resolution rates: knowledge-based mastery. Teams that consistently reach 67% resolution don't just have a knowledge base. They treat their knowledge base and help center as a living system, intentionally designed, continuously maintained, and tightly aligned to customer questions. In this section, we will focus on three things high performing teams do differently: how they design a scalable knowledge architecture, how they maintain and optimize content over time, and how they turn content gaps inside their knowledge base into actionable improvement plans. So with that, um, so with that, this is the Intercom backend workspace. When we talk about knowledge-based mastery, one of the most important things to understand is how Intercom knowledge center or knowledge base really works. So to go to Intercom knowledge base, we'll go to knowledge, and this is the Intercom knowledge view. Intercom knowledge is where FinAI draws the content it uses to answer customer questions. This place is where you add new content and track what content is being used across all sources, including AI agent, copilot, and your specific help center. So in here is the view of our knowledge base. The first thing we have to look at is how do we add specific contents inside your knowledge base. Inside the content section of your knowledge base, public you can add different types of content like public article, internal article, snippet, website sync, and many more, such as um, exporting help center from Zendesk, exporting data from Guru, Notion, and different documentations from Confluence, and even update from Document, and many more. So as we all say inside, as we always say as Intercom, um, knowledge base or FinAI is only as strong as the knowledge content we give access to. And what I say to that is the most advantageous or most advanced and better feature inside knowledge content is the ability to sync website itself. So for example, you have you have an informational website regarding your product or your organization. You can use that or sync straight away inside your using your website link and click next, and now you will be able to use those information as FinAI content. When I say content, that means that FinAI will answer questions regarding your website. So for example, before this webinar started, I already inserted or added content regarding the website of NTUC. And if I ask a question regarding what is NTUC, because FinAI has the appropriate knowledge needed to answer this question, he will use that content to answer this specific question, as you can see here. So it is a Singapore National Confederation trader representing 500,000 workers. Yeah. So, intercom knowledge is where FinAI draws its content it uses to answer customer questions. This is the place where FinAI queries all those information to answer specific questions from your customers. So another thing or another advantage of using intercom is the ability to create self-serving help center in addition to your knowledge content, because other than help center self-service, those self-service help center is also used by your FinAI. So how do we create a help center? So inside your knowledge base, click help center. And as you can see here, this is the before the webinar started, I already inputted some of the information or some of the help center data needed for this. But to show you, there are two types of content inside our help center. One is for articles that will be posted inside your help center containing help data or question data, and another is collection. Collection is mainly used to organize your help center. So as you can see, we have three types of collection here. One is for getting started, one is for policy information, another is for payments and billing. This is how you organize and build a more scalable knowledge base. So to do that, create a collection and say you want a collection for your frequently asked questions. So you do FAQ. And for future references regarding this collection, what do this collection should contain? So what you do is you input a description regarding the title of this collection. So this collection houses all the frequently asked question to of the customer. Yeah. And you create that collection. After creating the collection, you are free to add a new article in here. So click the new article. And this is the view of creating a public article. Another thing that's advantageous inside our help center is the ability to actually identify how your help center article is performing. So for example, you want to know how getting started and can I get a quote online is performing, whether it actually resolves question or was it been used to answer questions. So you go, can I get online and can I get a quote online inside the article? And if you scroll down on the details panel, you can see in the panel of reports how many times it has been viewed, how many times it has been featured inside the conversation, its CSAT rating, and how many times it has been used by Fin, and how many times it has resolved Fin involvement conversation. So to show that, let's just find something that has been used here. So I think it's this one. Oh, sorry. And this. So you can see here, the article has been viewed one time, and it has resolved three customer conversation questions, and it has been involved by Fin or used by Fin three times to answer a question. So this kind of report is like a summarization of help center specific article. One of the like best to do or tips that you could do to really maximize FinAI on identifying how a help center article really performs. So so finally, as you continue mastering your knowledge base, Fin Insights will activate once there's enough data. Uh, let me, let me just go here. Yeah. So, as I'm saying, as you continue mastering your knowledge base, Fin Insights will activate once there is enough data. This allows Fin AI to provide optimization suggestions, particularly highlighting actionable insights to turn weaknesses into opportunity, making your support content smarter, more complete, and more effective over time. So suggestions are how FinAI optimizes its own performance over time. It could identify like it could suggest different actions or different knowledge-based content that he lacks that needs to be worked on by the workspace admin of Intercom. So suggestions are how FinAI optimizes its own performance. One key type of suggestion is what we call content gaps. These identify these identify areas where FinAI was not able to answer a customer because the help content was missing, unclear, duplicated, or even contradictory. FinAI analyzes failed responses and compares them to successful human replies to pinpoint exactly what's missing. This is AI's way to really grow over time, identifying what you lack inside your help center or knowledge base. Addressing these content gaps has a direct sorry, has a direct impact on performance. In fact, consistently acting on these suggestions is one of the most powerful ways to scale FinAI effectively and keep resolution rates growing. So to wrap up this section, mastering your knowledge base is the heart of achieving high FinAI resolution rates. It starts with building a scalable knowledge architecture, keeping your content accurate, organized, and up to date. It continues by designing a help center that only serves, sorry, but that not only serves as your customer, but also reinforce FinAI brand voice and giving FinAI the guidance it needs to respond consistently. And finally, leveraging Fin insights and content gap suggestions ensures your knowledge base is always evolving, turning weaknesses into actionable improvements. When teams focus on these three pillars, they give FinAI the foundation it needs to consistently resolve more conversation. So now, having built a solid foundation with knowledge-based mastery, we will now shift our focus to the next critical area, AI training optimization. The question is, the question is, how do you want FinAI to speak to your customer, to identify or to check different types of question or even triage customer question? In this module, we'll focus on optimizing Fin to perform more effectively and reliably. We'll explore three key areas: rule-based guidance and escalation, setting clear rules for Fin and defining when it should escalate queries for human intervention, Fin response testing and quality assurance, systematically reviewing and testing Fin's responses to ensure accuracy, helpfulness, and consistency. Fin procedures and workflow optimization, designing automated processes that help Fin handle repetitive tasks efficiently while maintaining high quality interactions. And by the end of this module, you should know or you'll know how to train, evaluate, and optimize Fin so it can deliver the right answers, escalate appropriately, and streamline workflows across the organization. So I'm going to bring you back to our workspace or backend workspace of Intercom. So the first topic is how do we identify or create workflows, or sorry, how do we train Fin AI agent? So going on the left side, let's go inside Fin AI agent. And inside here, we have the train panel. Let's just expand the Fin AI agent train panel and go to guidance. Okay. So when optimizing AI, the first question we need to ask is, how do we want Fin AI to behave? How should it communicate, respond to conversation, and ask follow-up questions? The first step in shaping Fin's performance is guidance. We will provide clear rules and direction so it can interact consistently, accurately, and in line with our expectation. So to do that, let's go inside guidance. Okay. And we have inside guidance, we have four types of guidance rules. The first type is basic, second type is communication style, and third type is context and clarification. And lastly, we have content and sources and spam. So first off, we have the basics. Basics is where we identify default or FinAI's basic way of communicating to customer. So we have two types of basic configuration. One is Fin's tone of voice. One is Fin's answer length. So we can configure Fin's AI to converse in a manner of being friendly, neutral, matter of fact, professional, and humorous. So this on this section, I want FinAI to be friendly. And Fin's answer length can be concise, standard, and thorough. So I want Fin's answer length to be concise. After configuring basics, we have communication style. Communication style is how we want FinAI to be able to identify extra information. So for example, you a customer is asking for or querying for any issues like, hey, I cannot register. So we can give FinAI the rule to be able to ask follow-up questions. So for example, we want FinAI to able or to answer if a customer question is about registration or cannot register. FinAI will ask a question on regarding what email are you using, or what ISP or email provider is he using. So to give you more example, I have a first rule here: help center identification. Before answering, always identify which help center your answer is sourced from. So using context and clarification, I want to add more information or more context inside FinAI reply. Like as mentioned, help center identification. So let's just ask the question again. What is NTUC? And because of this rule, FinAI should use or should kind of um identify what help center did the answer come from. So as you can see, based on information from our DKM Marlex Help Center, as you can see, using this rule, FinAI was able to use or to identify what help center did the answer come from. So after that, the next rule I created is if the user reports login problem. So this is what I'm mentioning earlier. But instead of registration, it's a login issue. So when a customer reports a login problem, I want FinAI to follow up question on what type of mobile device or what type of device is he using or she is using. Like, are you using desktop or mobile? So let's test that out. What let's just do reset and then ask, I have an issue, I cannot log in. Yep. So using this rule, FinAI was able to ask questions regarding the follow-up. So number one is, are you trying to access through desktop or mobile, which is the first part of our rule, accessing through desktop and mobile. And next is, have you already tried changing your password? Have they already tried changing password? As you can see, using context and clarification, FinAI will be able to ask follow-up question and identify more information in his replies. So next type of guidance is content and sources. Actually, this type of guidance is still in beta. Intercom is continuously improving its UI or user interface. But in the near future, you will now be able to ask FinAI to troubleshoot different issue. So for example, you want FinAI to identify what is the username and what is the password because the user is asking why he cannot log in. It says maybe your password is incorrect. FinAI in the future will now be able to do those kinds of things using content and sources if proven or if provided the correct authentication. Lastly, we have the spam. Spam is may, we're all knowledgeable with this, but inside FinAI, you can identify specific rules for FinAI to be able to identify those conversations as spam. Like you want any talks regarding politics to be a spam, you can put that in spam. And any talks regarding marketing or any product rather than intercom will be marked as spam. Yeah, that's one of the things. So as we discussed earlier, Fin is only as effective as the information we provide. So inevitably, Fin will encounter questions it cannot answer. The key question then becomes, how should Fin AI handle questions that he cannot answer? In this situation, what do Fin AI do? Well, that is where escalation comes in. Escalation is defining clear pathways for Fin to hand off complex or unfamiliar queries so they are resolved accurately and efficiently. So, how do we do that? So, inside escalation, there is only one type of rule inside escalation for Fin AI. The first type is rules and guidance. So the difference between these two is escalation rules are defined as different technical contents, like maybe topics of conversation, um, membership of a user. So for example, you don't want VIP customers to be able to speak to Fin AI. You want VIP customers to be handled straight away by your live agent. That is where escalation rules come in. You can identify different customer type or problem issues and straight away assign them to a live agent. But what is interesting is escalation guidance. Escalation guidance is a more advanced way of identifying issues using human language. The first part is angry customer. Using human language, Fin AI will be able to identify sentiment like angry, happy, or even disappointed. You just have to identify it, or you just have to tell him to do that. So, as you can see here, if a customer is angry, no follow-up question, just escalate the conversation straight away. We can do that also with happy customer. What if a customer is happy? Then you can identify, like, if a customer is happy, express Fin AI gratitude and the wish to speak with them again. Yeah, it works both ways, both from happy and angry customers. Another thing is ask for escalation. If a customer asks for escalation, I want Fin AI to route to a human agent straight away without asking any follow-up question. You can do that. If you don't want Fin AI to ask follow-up questions, because um other bot or other AI, when asked to routed to a live agent, they try to answer the question themselves, even the customer told them that I want to be routed to a human live agent. So in here, when a customer asks for escalation, I don't want any follow up, I don't want to speak to AI anymore, I just want to be routed to a human agent straight away. You can do that here. Another, as I've mentioned earlier, you can also identify by topic. So if the issue is about forgotten username, I want to escalate to a live agent. So, so for example, if there is an issue like for example, a customer is asking for financial documents. Financial documents are sometimes part of NDA contracts to organization, to a client. So sometimes you don't want FinAI to have access to that. So what you can do is when those customers ask question, you can give escalation guidance to FinAI to route to a live agent straight away and not deal with any NDA consequences. Okay. So so after that, you might be wondering, so how does giving FinAI communication guidance and escalation rules relate to achieving better resolution? You might be questioning yourself, how does identifying topic, and how does being able to give FinAI guidance relate to achieving a res, higher or better resolution? Well, guidance and escalation are how Fin learns the way humans behave. As you can see earlier, we mentioned to him, if a customer is angry, if a customer asks for live agent, Fin AI gets those contents or queries those content to identify how customer behave. He can recognize good or bad sentiment, identify unquestioned answer, and how to respond appropriately. This information helps Fin understand where improvements are needed in your workspace, enabling more actionable insights and continuous optimization of responses and workflow. So earlier, we introduced an optimization method through content gap suggestion. While this helps Fin improve on its own, as workspace admins, we also want a way to train it manually. Remember what I showed you earlier here in in the optimization? This is kind of Fin's AI's way to automatically identify gaps inside his own workspace or his own knowledge base. But as an admin, we want a way to manually train it, to manually ask questions to FinAI and manually identify whether a question is correct or the answer is correct and or the answer is incorrect. So to do that, we have FinAI test. This FinAI test is kind of a way for us as admins of workspace to be able to ask questions regarding FinAI and test it whether the issue is or whether the question is incorrectly answered or whether he used the wrong guidance. Like maybe instead of being in a friendly tone, FinAI used a more professional tone, and we don't like that. So we can identify whether the issue is, so as you can see here, this is the view of the FinAI agent test. On the top side, we can add questions and add more questions manually. So we can ask, what is the color of the earth? Earth. Yep. Okay. As you can see, because there is an issue, or sorry, because there is a help center that identifies what is the color of the earth appears in three main colors: green, brown, and blue. Because of this, we can maybe identify, like, so for example, we want to rate this answer as correct. But what if the answer is incorrect? So first off, let's go to knowledge. Let's just make an edit on this content. So let's just identify where the content came from. Okay, here. Based on this answer, the content of this question or the content of this answer was source is this certain help center article. So if we change this, so let's just make an edit here. The earth is black, publish. So now FinAI should answer incorrectly. What is the color of the earth? As you can see, because of the changes we made, the help center said that the color of the earth is black, which is obviously incorrect. So now what we can do when we see answers that are far from the truth or far from the correct like response, we can rate this response as poor, and FinAI will ask us what is the reason for that poor answer. So inside select a reason, we can identify that um, so didn't use the correct content. And after that, FinAI will ask us to improve this answer, and it will show us where that content came from. So update content. And as you can see, FinAI brought us again inside this article, which means FinAI is asking us, I am not the wrong one here. The article is incorrect. So I want you to make changes in this article. So because of that, we already identify where the issue is and we can just make changes here. And the color of the earth is blue, green, and brown. And publish that. After that, let's give FinAI another refresh and it should be correct again. And we can give him a good rating inside here. So you can see the earth appears blue, green, and brown. So that's good now. Okay, so it gives Fin AI testing gives us a straightforward way to optimize Fin before issues reach the customer. Because what if a customer asks this specific question and earlier on it was in the incorrect answer or in an incorrect content? The issues might occur from there. So this is a straightforward way to optimize Fin before issues reach the customer, ensuring that we are proactive and not just reacting, but addressing potential gaps right away for a smoother, more reliable experience. Okay, so now that we have optimized Fin with guidance and escalation rules, tested its responses, and identified content gaps, the next question is how do we turn these insights into real improvement for our business process? How do we tailor all that we've been done from earlier to tailor our business process? How does it apply? This is where we move from optimization to practical application, workflows and procedure. This provides the framework to do exactly that, allowing us to tailor Fin's behavior to support our operations efficiently and effectively. So first, we have the workflows. Let me go to the workflow. Yep. Okay, so inside here, yep, okay. First, we have the workflow. A workflow is one of the automation tools in Intercom that connects FinAI to your support processes, and other workflow actions. The best part, it's entirely drag and drop. So you don't need any coding experience to set it up and making automation simple, intuitive, and accessible for everyone. So, for example, inside your customer support, you have three types of team dealing with different topics. One team is dealing with accounts topic. Second team is dealing with e-services topic. So when I say e-services, deposit, withdrawal, and third team is dealing with technical questions. So for example, back-end issues of the website, front-end issues of the website, or any integration of your application. So what you can do is using workflow in here. Um, First off, I want to say that this is where you apply FinAI. So in here, after the welcome page, the best like optimization rule to do when you're working a workflow is that after the customer replies, you always want FinAI to be involved in the conversation straight away. So as you can see in here, this is how we use FinAI. So if you add the step and let Fin answer in here, this is how we let FinAI get involved with the conversation. After that, after conversing with FinAI, you want FinAI to identify what is the topic of the conversation. So for example, after the customer asks a question, so maybe I cannot, my withdrawal has failed, or I cannot get my deposit is not showing in your application. So that is inside the deposit and withdrawal issue. So Fin will be able to identify that, and after identifying that issue will go to e-services team and identify that and tag it, because this is one of the more technical approach inside workflow where you tag everything, so you are able to identify and look back on how those issues occurred. So after that you can also create ticket for this issue, and after and when identifying the ticket, when the customer click yes, and again you use the topic identified by FinAI earlier and convert that conversation into a customer ticket. Okay, after workflow, let's move on to procedures. Procedures is a new addition to Intercom's automation tools. Procedures give Fin the ability to use human language rules to perform a wide range of tasks across your workspace, third-party apps, or even data storage. From retrieving order information to canceling subscriptions with proper authentication and rules in play, Fin can now deliver full agent level performance, handling complex tasks efficiently and accurately. So, how does it look like, or what does it look like? As I mentioned earlier, this is all in human language. We gave Fin AI the ability to understand tasks by identifying human language. So as you can see in here, use this task to handle subscription status, retrieval and cancellation. This is kind of the trigger point for the procedure. So after that, you have the action points. In here it is also everything is fully technical here, but here we identify that when this procedure is triggered, what I want FinAI to do is retrieve customer subscription information, check for cancellation requests, process cancellation if requested, and retrieve updated subscription information, confirm cancellation, and lastly confirm cancellation completion. So how does it look like, or how does Fin use this Fin AI or use this human language rules to perform in a real world scenario? So we click preview, and here what is my subscription status? Yeah. So because we triggered the procedure, it should now go inside the instruction we created here. So let me check your subscription status for you. So as you can see, FinAI was able to get the subscription plan I have. And now I want to cancel my subscription. Let's see if FinAI is able to answer this question using this task. Yep. So now he's checking to us. So this is like a double check of some kind. So yes, I want to cancel. Yep. So now it's working on the back end, collecting the information data and updating that, because now as you can see, it's able to cancel my subscription for me using this procedure. Okay. So using workflow or procedure and workflow, the continuous improvement through testing and with clear guidance and escalation, you now have the tools to confidently scale FinAI, driving higher performance and moving closer to that 67% resolution goal. But another critical part of reaching that 67% resolution goal isn't just knowing how to optimize Fin. It's knowing whether those optimizations are truly working. How do you measure success? How do you ensure Fin is performing as intended? This is where monitoring and measurement become essential. Monitoring by tracking the right metrics, statistics, and reports, you gain clear visibility into Fin's performance, uncover areas for improvement, make decisions based on data, not assumption. So as the final topic of this webinar, we will walk through the essential monitoring metrics you need to evaluate and continuously improve Fin AI, including content performance analysis and optimization, AI-powered gap and identification, and what we discussed earlier, suggestions, resolution rate tracking, and trend analysis. So the first essential monitoring metrics is conversation topics. These topics are identified by both Fin and your team, and they form a foundational layer of context across the entire workspace because conversation topics directly influence how data is grouped, analyzed, and interpreted, it's crucial that they align with your key areas of focus, whether that's financial, industrial, technology, or any other core domain. This metric is used consistently throughout the workspace, making it a critical pillar for accurate reporting, meaningful insights, and effective optimization. The graph shown is a bubble chart that visualizes conversation topic. Each bubble represents a topic with its size containing the volume of conversation associated with it. Next, we have the Topics Explorer. As I mentioned earlier, conversation topics form the foundational of contextual identification across your entire workspace. The Topics Explorer is where that foundation come to life. Within the Topics Explorer, you can analyze a wide range of key metrics such as CX score, involvement, Fin automation, and Fin resolution, and many more. All of these metrics are organized by the conversation topics identified by both Fin and your team, giving you a clear topic-based view of performance. These are core metrics you'll rely on to make informed decisions about where your support processes need more focus and improvement. The Topics Explorer helps you pinpoint exactly what topics Fin and your support operation is performing well or struggling well. Next, we have the Fin suggestions. Actually, we have discussed this earlier, but I want to introduce you with two more types of Fin suggestions. The second type is action gaps and data gaps. Data gaps highlight missing or inaccessible data required for different types of processes inside your workflow or inside your workspace. Action gaps are identifies unfinished or incomplete tasks within your workspace. So maybe you forgot to save the workflow, or you have unused configuration or redundant configuration. This is where Fin will be able to suggest those key gaps inside your workspace. Another crucial metrics is the automation overview. Found within FinAI Agent, reporting, this view focuses especially on the overall automation performance of your workspace, giving you a high-level understanding of how effectively Fin is handling conversations end-to-end. Key metrics here include automation rate, involvement rate, and the all-important resolution rate. Together, these metrics show how often Fin is responding independently when human agents are stepping in, and how successfully conversations are being resolved. And lastly, we have trends. Trends is your automated weekly data analysis that spots important changes, both negative and positive, in your support conversation. So maybe Last week, I compared to your data last week, you're having a more resolution rate, maybe 10% more resolution rate. FinAI will be able to identify that and give that or put that in your trend. So what does Trends do? Trends scans all your support metrics from Monday morning, finds the biggest shift in conversation volume, fin resolution rates, and CX scores, explains what changed and why in plain language. It's basically your early warning system that catches problems before they escalate and highlights wins you might have missed. These are just the most essential monitoring metrics, and they play a crucial role in driving a higher resolution rate for FinAI. So by keeping a close eye on this insight, you can ensure Fin is performing at its best, proactively address gaps and continuously optimize your workspace for maximum efficiency. So, all right, to wrap up this presentation, we've covered how to achieve mastery in your knowledge base, how to optimize and train FinAI, and the key metrics and insight to watch throughout this journey. So now I'm going to give the floor back to Elaine for the Q&A section. So Elaine?
Thank you, Marlex, for that insightful walkthrough. And now we will move into the Q&A portion of today's webinar. If you haven't already, please submit your questions in the Q&A or chat, and I'll read them out. Okay, so our first question is from Jane. How to handle questions that should be answered by live agents and not Fin AI?
Yeah. Okay. So for Jane, how do you handle questions that should be answered by live agents and not FinAI? Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, maybe some of the questions are like part of the NDA. So some questions might not be appropriate to be answered by FinAI. There are two types of ways or methods that we can answer those types of question, or we can let Fin answer those types of question. The first part is the most basic way, which is doing it by guidance. So as I showed you earlier in here, sorry, escalation. As I showed you earlier, if the issue is regarding username, so for example, you want questions regarding account issues to be escalated first to a live agent or escalated straight away to a live agent. You can do that inside here. But what most clients or what our past clients do or have done is that they like to use topic identification. So as I showed you earlier, this one this one is the workflow for topic identification. After the customer asks a question, the question has been answered or the question cannot be answered by FinAI. It will escalate straight away here. So how does it work? So as I mentioned earlier, when the issue is regarding accounts, so I cannot log into my account. So you can see I think it's regard. So now after asking the question, we will ask to be I want to be assigned to a live agent. Live agent. What happens here is that FinAI, after assigning or escalating that question, it identified the topic of the question. So as you can see here, Fin followed the guidance, and after that, Fin should be able to identify. Sorry, I need to add one more. Yeah, as you can see here, because we have a topic identification inside our team or inside our workflow, Finn was able to identify. Sorry, let's go to inbox and let's find that specific question here. Open here. So you can see, Finn was able to identify that the question is regarding accounts. And now, when I do you want to create a ticket for this issue? Yeah, that's within us if they want. So what I'm saying is that because we now know the topic or the issue they've been reporting, we can skip is- skip talking to to Fin AI and just go straight away to a live agent. Yep. So I hope that answers your question, Jane. For next question.
I guess we have no other question, and that sums up our Q&A and brings us to the end of this session. Thank you again to Marlex for sharing your expertise, and thank you to everyone who joined us today. If you'd like to learn more about using Intercom and FinAI to scale your support system to 67% AI resolution, we encourage you to book a demo with us. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you at our next webinar. Have a great day.